Today I just wanted to talk about the weapons that we practice in Iwama. We practice with a jaw and also with a bokken. Now these are mere weapons that will be in today's society mere useless, pretty much. People having gun or anything, this would not serve much purpose. But why we're practicing weapons is because they do teach so much to help us get a strong and powerful Aikido, and they teach us about the posture, teach us about the handmade footwork, teach us about the distance. Also they teach us about the taijutsu applications, so much that when you understand how weapons are practiced, you can see the strong correlation between weapons and anti-handed techniques that Sato Sensei has given us through his learning with O Sensei. And that is personally the reason why we believe that this Aikido from Sato Sensei was more authentic, direct lineage from O Sensei, or what O Sensei would have wanted Aikido to be. And I don't wish to go into debates for any, with any other styles of Aikido, because there's so many variants, so many different studies, and all these things have happened because different instructors studied under O Sensei at different period of times or stages of his life. So that's why we're bound to see some variance. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But one thing for sure is what Sato Sensei gave us is very strong evidence. The weapons are not something taught separately, where the footwork will be slightly different, and how we interact with our partner holding the weapon. You might, for example, see a block and strike, which is not what O Sensei would teach. It's if you do Kendo, which is not pretty to Kendo, but what happens is somebody strikes, they are striking, blocking and strike. So this is blocking and strike, which is a different way of doing things. In Aikido, we move offline and strike at the same time, for example. So we move offline for two reasons. One is to avoid the attack from the front, but we also move offline because we could be dealing with another attacker at the back. So we've avoided the possibility of being struck from the rear and from the front, both sides. And that is why the Aikido that Sato Sensei left us makes so much more sense. Is when you strike to the side, you already move offline and then strike your partner. So that in itself, to me, is evidence. The study is to prepare one against many simultaneously, and you can cope with multiple attackers, because when you do this, strike, block and strike, you're still in the line of your attack. Somebody from the rear could strike you, block and strike, it gets you. So there are big differences. When you study the Ken, I mentioned in my previous video explaining about the third Ken Shibari, you actually study the koku, get a feel of the koku, So whether this is first Ken Shiburi, you study the kokyu. Strong positioning into hamni. Compression with the hips. You get the center, use far more. You learn to do Aikido from here. So Aikido becomes internal more than external, thanks to the study of the weapons. When you study the jaw, there's another element of the kokyu, but I think the jaw is more into positioning, correcting the hamni, positioning body, and there's a lot of itohemi position. Itohemi position. When you're dealing with one of multiple attackers, again, 2 lines, you do itohemi, which O-sensei was doing a lot. They would often go sideways, itohemi, so meeting these 2 lines, attack from the back, from the rear and the front, go into this line. So you don't actually stay. You can get struck at the back or from the back. The jaw give us very clear body movement application. It's not for the sake of learning how to thrust, and sometimes I see this bad habit. Why would you go so far at the back? You might feel good about it, but when you bring the jaw down this way, you can block it from here. You can't do anything. There, it wouldn't be possible because you're already going in. So, just keeping the small finger, it's more direct, but also use of the hips. If you thrust like this, dead hips. So twist the hips, twist the hips, twist the hips, twist the hips. So many movement with the jaw, far more than with the Ken. But it's definitely use of the hips, footwork. So that's another form of study that you can do on your own, which can be applied one against many quite easily. When you're doing Tsukino Kame, Irangashi, this feeling. It's there, definitely there. When we practice these 2 weapons, it gives us a lot of clues, a lot of things to think of, how we can improve our Aikido. And during the lockdown, for example, if you have a space, I recommend you continue practicing the Ken, the 7 Ken Shiburi, the Jo Shiburi, 20 Jo Shiburi. You can do the 13 Kata, the 31 Kata. You know, there's many other forms, and then you can do slightly other things on your own. But the point is always get a feel, am I using the hips? am I cutting from here? So if you cut from the arms, you got something like this. If you cut from the arms, shoulders, it's not the same. If you use this, it's different. This is different. If you use your hips, it's different. It's different. This, if you don't use your hips, you get that. If you use the arms, it's limited power. Think of this. If you use your arms, you use the shoulders by smaller joints. Hips are the biggest joint of your body. So if you use the biggest joint of your body, you unleash the power. You truly unleash much bigger power from the center, from the hips, than from the shoulders. Shoulders, very limited power. Very limited power. Use your hips. Very different. Very different. This, different. Well, I hope by showing you these two weapons gives you a little perspective, perhaps a glimpse of what Iwama Aikido offers with the study of the weapons. And when we can go back to do Taijutsu with our partners, then training will be stronger. So practice as much as you can with the weapons, and hopefully we'll see each other soon after this lockdown, or when the virus is over. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see any more videos. Thank you.